Hello, and thank you for joining me again on the Reinforce the Horse podcast. I'm Jason, your single host today again. Figured as we schedule in new guests and Alyssa sort of clears her schedule a bit in the upcoming months, I figured I would just kind of use this platform to share some stuff that's going on and definitely tie it into the work with the horses and such. And so this morning on my Facebook feed, I came across a post by somebody named Rebecca B, who I haven't met in person at all, ever. Don't really know her. But we have had some Facebook posts that have had some resonance. And this post that she posted this morning really kind of hit me smack dab in the forehead, I guess. And I'll go ahead and read it. So she says, "The old paradigm is shifting. Sensitive used to be labeled as weak. Sensitive people have been conditioned to believe that their sensitivity and empathy is weakness. However, sensitivity is true strength. This resolve is getting stronger. So many of the leaders in the world have been born out of fear and lack and are actually some of the most weak and insecure characters who present as strong and powerful. This is going to change. The world cannot continue in this way, and the whole paradigm is going to turn on its head. Uncaring, competitive, self-motivated gain at the expense of others will all be seen as weakness. Empathetic, caring consideration of self and others at the expense of neither will be seen as strength." Wow, there's a lot of profound stuff in just that message, and it's very timely for me. I have shared, pretty much my life story on this podcast. So you could go back to those episodes and listen to them. But one of the things I really struggled with, really my entire life, is being that of a man or male, and also feeling a great deal of empathetic sympathy, or rather sensitivity, within my being for as long as I can remember. And it wasn't until I began working with horses back in the late 2018 that I began to see myself in those earlier days of working with horses. I began to see myself for what I was or what I am, and rather than what society has perhaps conditioned us to be, especially in the way of gender differentiation. And so working with the horses, it's always amazed me how strong and powerful they are. They're, compared to us, I mean, they are 1,000-pound animals on average, and their muscular structure is incredible. They eat grass, which, I can go back to my time serving in the military, and especially when I was deployed to Iraq. And, when you're in the war theater, I think you have one of two options. You could either kind of wallow in self-pity and feel like the world is a horrible place, or you could take some action about yourself and your body. And I think a lot of soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines wind up going the route of focusing on their body and really just hitting the gym a lot, and it becomes the drug of choice out there, so to speak. And So I remember eating a lot of protein and really a lot of calories in general. And it just kind of puts into perspective like how a horse is able to have this massively strong, powerful body, yet the inputs to their body, at least in comparison to like a human uh, omnivorous diet, it's like, how do you guys even survive, let alone build this crafty, ginormously strong and powerful body physically? And then also seeing that play out as they interact with each other in the small herd that we have, you start to see how they are very sensitive, not only in their physical state of being as it applies to just their situational awareness, like they've got really heightened sensitivity and awareness to their environment, but also like at the core of their existence, like their being, I believe they're angelic. I believe horses are angelic manifestations, or rather incarnations, into the horse body in this third dimension that we reside. That's my belief, and it could be off, on that belief. I don't really care. I I have worked with them enough in the past few years to form that belief, and I don't really have to have it proven. And angelic may not be the correct or incorrect term, but what I'm getting at is that they just have this existence that, if we allow it to, it's a symbiotic relationship with our human spiritual state, and they demonstrate being. Now, don't get me wrong, horses can look and appear to be mean to each other at times, but if you really look and pause for a moment and keep the humanistic analytical judgment out of the equation, uh, I think you'll find that the way they are is, at least in my opinion, it's not hierarchical. Like it's they don't have a to me they don't have this like defined leader who they ultimately bow down to. It really, to me, what they wind up doing is, and it works miraculously well, they support each other's strengths and weaknesses. And that to me is a lot different than having a leader who rises to the top. And let's face it, most times, and I think what Rebecca was getting at in her post is that most times our human leaders are so wrapped up in their own egoic drive to survive, and they're so wrapped up in fear and really, yeah, just fear and anxiety about themselves and about their being only, existing in this lifetime and nothing else. And so then they oppress others as they rise to the top, and they take advantage of others as they rise to the top. Whereas for me, my observation looking at, even a small herd of horses that we have, it's not about rising to the top for them. It's about just being aware and sensitive to the strengths and weaknesses that each provide to the existence of the herd, and even the collective consciousness and the collective strength of the species itself. And so the more I see them and they're physically powerful and spiritually powerful beings demonstrating those things, the more I wish and hope and pray that humanity is able to follow suit. And, you know, clearly, if you look around the planet, horses are clearly not the only ones who demonstrate this. Another living being that comes to mind are bees and ants. And so even these, like, arguably almost like, if you look at it from like world perspective, they're almost microscopic. But they demonstrate such an ability to just share love and light and kindness. And it doesn't mean that they get walked all over and they won't defend, but it just means that their innate being doesn't have to be this I'll take over and rise to the top at your expense sort of mentality. And I personally believe that when it comes to humans, this idea that you can be sensitive and loving and caring, but also kind and powerful at the same time, I think that's a really awesome thing to aspire to as humans, rather than more or less bowing down to an all-powerful leader who really, we can see behind that veil all the time that these people really aren't all that powerful. They're just hiding behind, it's like the Wizard of Oz hiding behind the curtain. At any rate, I wanted to close up and share this poem that I wrote about a week ago, I think, now. And it's one of my favorites. It's a short poem. And I think it kind of coincides with this message today. So here it goes. Bring out your fiery blaze. Don't be afraid, for fear has no place where there's joy, love, and grace. Keep seeking and you will find life worth living. It's already here. Keep going, keep delivering, for love flows through you and all. Connected by light, we are one. So I hope that kind of all helps you in your journey today and in this moment. And I appreciate you being here and listening. And if you would like to be a guest on the show, please send us a message at podcast@reinforcethehorse.com, and we'll be sure to get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks and have a fantastic day.